What's up, Broncos country? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. Moose here at my brother-in-law's house, believe it or not. And the reason that I'm coming to you right now, it's a little secret video. Hush, hush here. The fiance is out currently with her sister doing some last-minute wedding stuff. I had about half an hour, saw this article, had to get a video for you because this is insane news that you need to know. In fact, some of it, I believe, incredibly disrespectful to what Sean Payton is building at Mile High. So every single year, a bunch of NFL reporters from ESPN kind of gather together. They give their full prediction of what the 2025 season is going to look like, solely based off of what they saw in training camp and what they saw throughout the preseason. And they kind of go off of that. They also bake into account all the things like the roster construction, what the defense is projected to look like, et cetera, et cetera. They list the weaknesses, they list the strengths. But here's the most important thing, and I apologize here because I'm going to have to do some reading. I don't have my usual setup like I do at Chat Sports. Here's what they've got going on right now. This is what they said. They have the Denver Broncos currently listed as the 11th best team in the NFL. It's a little low for my taste, but again, I'm not going to split hairs at that point. As long as you're close to the top 10, I think that's fine. Here's where I take umbrage. Chances to make the playoffs for the Broncos as the 11th best team, 53.5%. Chances to win the division, 22.1%. They have the 15th hardest schedule, the Broncos do, in the NFL, and they predict the Broncos going 10-7. What they did last year. With a better team that they acknowledge right here. Take a listen. The biggest strength, here's what it's read like. It's preseason and the Broncos haven't played too many opposing starters, but the Broncos defense has dominated at every turn. After 2 preseason games, the Broncos were number 1 in scoring defense, total defense, pass defense, third down defense, while allowing the fewest amount of first downs. It's one of the deepest groups in the NFL with a with a secondary that has a legitimate claim to the league's best. And you have them going 10-7. This, to me, just screams, you are not covering the Broncos nearly as often as you should be. Because I look at this and I say, last year, they were dead nuts wrong on the Broncos' predictions. So was I. I didn't have them as low as what ESPN projected. ESPN had them winning 6 games. I said the Broncos were going to be around 8. They surprised me, completely shattered what ESPN had to say. They go on to say in this article that the biggest question mark for the Broncos and why they can't have them higher is because there's still a question mark about Bo Nix. I don't know what more you need to see from this guy. I don't know if you need to see a rookie quarterback go out and do what Jaden Daniels did last year, which is take your team to an AFC championship in order to give the man that his respect, his flowers. Because you keep telling me Bo Nix is a system quarterback, but Tom Brady was a system quarterback. Peyton Manning was a system quarterback. All of these guys who are excellent pocket passers, who take what the defense gives you, who are not flying around the field like Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen. And Bo Nix is a lot more athletic than a lot of people give him credit for. Can move a lot better than people originally thought. You sit here and you tell me that these guys that only thrive in a really good coach's system, isn't that what you want? Isn't that exactly what you should be doing as a quarterback? And you've acknowledged that this Broncos defense is one of the deepest in the NFL, both up front and in the secondary. And yet, you're essentially telling me it's a coin flip to make the playoffs. I'm going to list some teams that are ahead of the Broncos in this article, just really quick, just so that you have an idea of where they put them in terms of respect. At number 10, the San Francisco 49ers, who won 6 games last year. The Los Angeles Chargers at number 9, who got blown out of the water their first game against the Houston Texans as well. They have the Commanders at 8, which is fair. They have the Bengals at 7, who might have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Excuse me, I do have to respond to this quick little message here. There we go. Sorry about that. I realize that I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but let me get back to my original point. You can hear a bunch of people still slacking me right now. We're still trying to figure out everything sponsor related. Again, sorry, I digress. If you can't acknowledge that Bo Nix is a player that is going to thrive in the Sean Payton system, and if you're still like, I don't know, what's his limit? I don't trust your opinion. I really don't. Because from what we've seen throughout Broncos training camp, which is all of the glowing remarks that Sean Payton has said about this offense and Bo Nix, you clearly must be seeing something differently than I'm seeing it. I trust Sean Payton's word. I don't trust that Sean Payton is this, he tells you what you want to hear. He tells it like it is. Now, he might not be as blunt as he would like to be because he's got to be that more presidential head coach, but he's not going to lie to you. And if Bo Nix has taken the leap from year 1 to year 2, like Sean Payton has said, then you're clearly disrespecting Bo Nix as a talent. Somebody that went out last year and threw for 3,700 yards, 29 touchdowns, and yet you still have them as the same record as last year while acknowledging the defense is one of the best in the leagues. It's just insane to me. It's just insane to me. I've got some more thoughts on this here in just a second, but I do have to tell you that today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. It is super simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 players and their stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks is also the best way to get in on action on sports in more than 40 plus states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. They put their users first. So withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. It also offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. So do me a favor. Head on over to the Prize Picks app, download it, and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. I just want to wrap up my thoughts here on what I saw. So back to this article really quick, and I know there's some other Broncos news that we have to touch on. They signed another player to the practice squad, a wide receiver. I just kind of foresee this being a kind of an in and out sort of thing all year. They're going to work out players. They actually worked out Deuce Vaughn, the running back for the Dallas Cowboys. He ended up not being signed by the Broncos, so not much to report on there. But if I go back to this ridiculous article, to me, and as an overarching umbrella take for it, I'm not so upset because they have the Broncos listed as 11, so there's at least some respect there. But to go on and hear their justification as to why they think there's basically a 50-50 shot to make the playoffs is just beyond me. It really is. The division is tough, or tougher, I should say, because, the Raiders got better. The Chargers are still going to be a pretty good team, and obviously the Chiefs are what they are. But the Broncos also got significantly better than they did last year. They did. They absolutely did. So to hear all of the praises that they're lauding the Broncos with, but then just in the same breath say, well, Bo is just, we don't know yet. It almost sounds like, and I've said this before, they're trying to hedge their bet on Bo. They were wrong initially about what he was coming out of college. He's a lot more athletic. He's a lot more of a athlete in terms of being able to maneuver himself outside of the pocket, throw on the run, and do all of the crazy highlight type plays, while also being someone that learns to take a check down or throw it out into the flat, or a screen, designed screen pass player, because Sean Payton calls it that way, and he's a system of Sean Payton's offense. Tom Brady was a system of Josh McDaniels' offense. Peyton Manning and Tony Dungy. Like, you can't sit here and try to drive upon me the claim that Bo Nix is only good because Sean Payton is good. Like, that's ridiculous. We clearly saw that when Russell Wilson was with Sean Payton, it didn't work. So that's my argument to your claim. I'm going to leave you with one more quote that they said before I get on out of here. I got to scroll all the way back down to the Broncos here. Just one second. They said, here's a QB stat that you need to know. Bo Nix threw for 3,775 yards last season, which was among the most among rookies. Number one, by the way. Nick's air yards per attempt was 12.9 in his QBR, which was 81 when targeting Courtland Sutton. But when targeting all others, his air yards per attempt dropped to 5.3. We have talked about this as well, that last year, the Broncos wide receivers were too green to really take that next step. That is no longer the case. So if you're acknowledging that last year, all of the other wide receiver targets and a lack of tight end, by the way, no Evan Engram, led to Bo Nix struggling a little bit more when not targeting Courtland Sutton. Now that you have Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims, a year older, rookie Pat Bryant, tight end Evan Engram, and a better run game, you're still giving them a coin flips chance to make the playoffs. It's just insane to me. It really is. I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but that's kind of where I took all of this. I can't wait to join you guys on Sunday. A reminder to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 40,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. I'm going to take off because my fiance is on her way home. And if she knew that I was working today, trust me, it would not be good. But what she doesn't know won't hurt her. So all you have to do is hit that subscribe button, like today's video, and I will see you guys on Sunday.